I literally cannot even with this month. On a scale of 1 to even, I can't. I am, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Why has so much had to happen in April? This month has been crazy. Absolutely crazy. This month has been absolutely crazy. Yes, I am talking about Avengers Endgame and that Battle of Winterfell on Game of Thrones. Like, oh my god, like, oh gosh, like, I just emotionally drained. I am so emotionally drained. If you've made it this far into the video, you're a winner. So hi guys, sorry, I just, oh my gosh, I can't, oh my god. Hi, hi, this is gonna be about my April wrap-up for books, not Avengers or Game of Thrones. This is going to be about books, I promise. So, OWLs.
Ordinary Wizarding Level Examinations. O.W.L.s. Ow!
The OWLs Magical Readathon is the first Booktube readathon I've really taken part in. I've done some 24-hour readathons before and, you know, little bits here and there, but I've never actually fully committed myself to participating in a proper readathon. So this is my first official one, and I am so happy with how it turned out. If you don't know what the OWLs Magical Readathon is, Book Roast has concocted this incredible magical see what you did there, readathon, where you have to take your OWLs, you do your exams, which are each subject from Hogwarts, and each subject has a prompt. You can pick a career as well, which is like a phenomenal aspect of this magical readathon as well. Mainly the reason why I did it was because of this incredible effort that Book Roast has put into this readathon. So I printed that booklet off and all of the careers are incredible. I actually couldn't really pick one straight away, but I decided to go for the Hogwarts professor career. I know, I'm such a basic bitch. Who doesn't want to be a Hogwarts professor though? So I feel like even though a lot of people are probably going for that one, I feel like I need to go for the one that I would want to do the most, and that is the Hogwarts professor. So don't hate me because you ain't me. Yeah, I wanted to do the Hogwarts professor requirements, which only requires 7 OWLs. But did I or did I not totally smash it this month? I am so just gonna have to wait and find out. I am just so I picked the Hogwarts professor, but I might end up changing my mind depending on all of the OWLs that I've passed. And I mean, yeah, it was required to pass 7 OWLs, and one of them had to be Defense Against the Dark Arts, and one of them had to be a subject that you would wish to teach. And my subject that I wanted to teach was Charms. So predictable. Yeah, I'm coming after Flitwick's job. I'm going to be head of Ravenclaw, I'm going to be the Charms professor. Flitwick can, you know, take over from McGonagall as headmaster. Once, yeah, McGonagall's retired. She deserves it, bless her. I also keep a reading bullet journal, and this is it. It's not really much, but I printed off the letter, printed off the prompts here, which I'll go through, and the books that I read for them. And yeah, just the Hogwarts professor career from the booklet, and yeah, oh, I don't want to show that. You can't say that just yet. I don't want to spoil it. No spoilers yet. Stop. Again. I actually haven't even finished. I need to finish that off actually. But yeah, let's see how I got on with my first readathon. Yeah, I'm so excited. So the first book that I read for my OWLs was for Charms, which was to read an adult work, and I chose to read Stephen King, Misery. And I said in the last video that I'm trying to read at least one Stephen King book a month. I've only read, like including this one now, 3 so far, which is really terrible. I do love, you know, Stephen King adaptations, and reading through these books I'm realising how much better the books are to the films. I thought that with Pet Sematary that I read in March before I watched the new film. Misery, I absolutely love the movie with Kathy Bates and What's the other guy's name again? But it's actually, it's a little bit short than some of his other works, like It, for example, the Stand. So it's about an author called Paul, and he writes this book series, and that's about this main character called Misery, and Annie Wilkes finds him on the side of the road and takes him into her house, and she is literally his #1 fan. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore the movie, that's never going to change. But when I read this, I just realised how much more isolating and how much more horrific it is in this book than it is in the movie. The movie added quite a few characters that weren't in the book, and it kind of removed that sense of isolation that you feel with Paul as he's trapped in Annie Wilkes' house. And there is just like so much that I really enjoyed out of this one. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I think Stephen King is a fantastic writer, and this one was definitely, I think it's probably my, it's probably my second favourite Stephen King book I've read so far, behind Pet Sematary, I think. Read this one for charms, absolutely loved it, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant start to the Owls. And the second book that I read was for Portions, which was Next Ingredient Read a Sequel. And so I read The Reptile Room. This is the second book in the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I'm trying to read through the entire series this year. I absolutely adored the Netflix show, so that is the main reason why I'm trying to read them all. I first read, I think, the first 5 books in the series, like about 10-15 years ago, and I never finished the series, so I'm making it my goal this year to complete this series. I do love the Netflix show, though, to be fair. I absolutely fucking loved it. This book I ended up giving 3 stars. I enjoyed the adaptations of The Reptile Room. I really do enjoy that, but I kind of felt this book was a little bit boring. And I love Uncle Monty, but there wasn't really a lot happening in this book, especially like in conjunction with a lot of the other books. I got through this and I thought, yeah, not a lot happened. Uncle Monty was a lot more stupid, I guess. He seemed to have a bit more spunk in the adaptations than he does in here. In fact, I didn't really like him all that much in this one, and I love Uncle Monty, so this one was like a bit of a disappointment for me. It was still decent. I gave it 3 stars still, and yeah, it's not really much more to say about this one. It was a nice, short, quick read. The next book I read for my Owls was for Ancient Runes, and that was to read a retelling. And I've seen so many people choose this book for this prompt, so I'm just gonna, I don't even need a, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, and I gave this one 3 stars as well. I wasn't really that taken with it. I thought it was okay. For, say, like the first 300 pages, I didn't think a lot was happening. Wasn't really connecting with the characters. It is about a girl called Harper. She is from Washington DC. She's sucked into this magical world called Emberfall, and Prince Ren, he is pretty much the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I love Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's one of my favourite stories, one of my favourite Disney films. But I guess I just didn't think this was doing enough for me to differentiate itself from the original story. It felt very samey, and I do appreciate the fact that the main character has cerebral palsy. That was a very nice addition to it, because it just showed you how strong Harper was and how much it didn't hold her back from being quite a strong character. But I still, even regardless, I just felt the story was lacking up until probably about like the last 150 pages. Yeah, I don't know, I kind of built myself up for this one, so maybe I was just a bit hyped for it, but I gave this 3 stars. Didn't really, I really like the spine. The spine's so nice and shiny. Not really much more to say about this one, I just didn't think it was that great. My next prompt was for Herbology, and that was to read a book with a plant on. That was to read a book with a plant on the cover. So I read Pog by Padre Kenny. Again, this is a children's book. Nice, easy, breezy read. Gave this one 3 stars as well. It was pretty good. It's about a boy and a girl who are taken to this family home with their widowed father. And it goes through sort of the grief of losing a mother. And they move into this house, they've lost their mum, and in the attic lives this strange little creature called Pog. And Pog is sort of protecting this other dimension where these creatures can come through. And so it's kind of, does have this like little bit of adventure side, but at the same time it's very rooted in family grief, which is sometimes what I think kids' books do so very well. This was good, but again, 3-star read. It was, I don't know, for some reason I've just had this string of 3 stars where I just felt like it wasn't pushing it enough for me. It just didn't really make that much of an impression on me. I probably would never read it again, to be fair. It was alright. I did think there were some nice touches, but overall I just, yeah, again, I just didn't really feel connected. I'm just having a string of bad luck here. Oh. So the next book that I read was for Defense Against the Dark Arts, and that was to read a book that begins with the letter R. I have done what J.D. Ray Reads has done, and that was to read These Rubble Waves by Sarah Rash. Hope she gets that checked out. It's, yeah, what Jade has said is that, you know, rebel is the first main word of the book, and yeah, it's a big letter R. So yeah, These Rubble Waves. This was another 3-star read in a row. I just, oh my god, like, I don't even know what happened in this. I breezed through it. It was like an easy read, but I can't really remember what the fuck happened. You know when you wake up after a night out and you're like blackout drunk and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? That was me going through this book, and I got to the end and I was like, how the fuck did I get here? I should probably tell you what this is about. So I don't know. I literally do not know what the hell this was. There are characters. They sort of intertwine. There is plant magic. They are... Oh my god, I don't know what this was about. It's... This, I probably should have given it 2 stars, to be fair. Because I'm just giving a lot of 3 stars out here. You can have a 3-star, you can have a 3-star. But I don't really remember what happened. I don't know the characters. I do remember that the prince was gay. That was good, I guess. I guess I was expecting just a bit more piracy and a bit more seafaringness. If you need a good description of this, go to Jade's channel. I'll link it down below. She'll be able to explain a lot better than I can. But I do remember as I was reading the thing, and like, this is good, but so forgettable, and I don't know, I felt it did nothing new. I'm just remembering feelings, I'm not remembering plot. And I didn't think it really had a lot of plot, to be honest. Moving on from that disaster, the next book I read was for Care of Magical Creatures, and that was to have a book with a land animal on the cover. So I read The Umbrella Mouse by Anna Fargo, which has a mouse on the cover, and this book is a proof copy. It doesn't come out until the 2nd of May, and I got this for work. If you don't know, which you probably do, take a shot every time I mention this, but I work as a children's and young adult bookseller at Waterstones, and we got this in. I thought it looked really good, so I took it. And it was actually really good. I gave this one a 4-star read. It finally pulled me out of that 3-star slump. And it is about this young mouse called Pip who lives under an umbrella shop with her family. It's set during World War II in London, and the shop is bombed, and Pip has to sort of go on this adventure to try and get to the last remaining members of her family in Italy. But obviously war is happening. It's raging through Europe, and we meet like a Churchill's secret army of animals, which was like, so it was really wonderful. And yeah, it was just such a wonderful book to read. I do like books set during the wars. This was a great little take on it for kids, especially since I think a lot of kids will identify with Pip and see a lot of strength and courage in her. Yeah, I kind of really enjoyed this one by the end of it. It's a nice short read. Yeah, it had some moments that I thought, well, wow, like, this is a kid's book, you know? This was probably like the best read since Misery in this readathon. So yeah, that says a lot. That says a lot. So that was 6 prompts that I did for OWLs. So I only had 1 more to pass to be a Hogwarts professor. So I picked Arithmancy. And mainly because I really wanted a quick read, and I don't usually read graphic novels, but I chose Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Volume 1, The Crucible, by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa and Robert Hack. I wasn't going to go with Arithmancy as my last required one, but I got this and I just thought I just want to read it. Part 2 of season 1 had just come out and I was like, oh my god, love, love, love. So this is sort of a take on the classic character of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, but it's a lot more darker, a lot more gritty. I found this to be very gruesome, and there were some great little artistic moments. Like, that is just horrifying. That is very scary. Like, I did really enjoy this graphic novel. It's very different to the show, actually. Like, things happened in this that I just wouldn't dream of happening in the show already, and I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. So now moving into the additional owls that I didn't necessarily have to take, but I just wanted to see how many I could do. So the next one I read was for Transfiguration. Transfiguration is to read a book with sprayed edges, and that book I chose for that one is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I could have a rant about this book because I predicted exactly who did it in the very first chapter. I probably watched too much CSI, but I knew from the off. I just fucking knew. That didn't take away any of the enjoyment of reading this. I thought this was a very well written book and I enjoyed the characters so much. So we have 5 characters. We have Nate, who is a bit of a criminal. We have Cooper, who is a baseball player. We have Bronwyn, who is a bit of a teacher's pet. And we have Addie, who is a prom queen. She has a perfect boyfriend. And the last one is Simon, and he runs this site where he posts gossip that always turns out to be true. So he has a lot of enemies. But if you read this book and you read chapter 1, which is when the detention takes place, I know a lot of people didn't get it, but I probably have watched too much CSI, but I found this painfully obvious who did it. And yeah, I'm glad it turned out to be that way, because I would have felt like a fool. But I could rant about this book so much. But I did enjoy the characters, I enjoyed the story, enough going on in each of their lives to keep this an entertaining read. So I would recommend this. It's a beautiful little book. It's signed by Karen M. McManus. It was a good read. It was a good read. I'd never be able to read it again. Now I know exactly what happens. But yeah, it was a good little sort of young adult crime book. I gave it 4 stars in the end because even though I predicted it, it was predictable for me. I still really enjoyed the ride. I could remember what happened unlike these Rebel waves, so that's always a plus. I'm pushing on. The next prompt that I wanted to complete was for astronomy, and that is to read a book with star in the title. So I read Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I absolutely love the movie. I had never read the book, but the other Neil Gaiman books I read were Coraline and The Graveyard Book, and I enjoyed those books. So I thought that, yeah, I will definitely enjoy this one, and I did. I gave this one 4 stars. It's very short though, which I was surprised at. It's only 196 pages. But I really, really enjoyed this. It was very short. I like Neil Gaiman's prose, and I like the whole mystical idea of it. So we have Tristan, who sees this star fall from the heavens. He's infatuated with this girl called Victoria from his village. There is a wall that's guarded, and when you step through it, you go onto the other side of this magical world. And I knew what to expect story-wise, but yeah, I will say I probably prefer the movie. I thought the movie was a lot more in-depth, especially with Robert De Niro's character. I enjoyed the whole sort of race against time aspect of it, with the witches trying to get to the star and Tristan trying to get to the star, and the star turned out to be a young woman, and it's a great little read. It's very magical. Sailed through it. Not very many gripes with this one, but yeah, it's very short, so you'll get through it like that. And then another prompt was for History of Magic, which was to read a book published over 10 years ago, and I chose The Wide Window, the 3rd book in a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket. Again, I'm still trying to get through all these books, so I thought, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? And yeah, I read The Wide Window. I preferred this one so much more than The Reptile Room. I thought so much more happened in this one. I don't really like Aunt Josephine. She's a terrible character. But at the same time she was very interesting to read. Again, I already knew what to expect. It's in the movies, it's in the TV show, but this, again, quite a nice easy read. Yeah, it's very formulaic, the plot at this point, and you kind of know what to expect, but I kind of like the different touches, and I really enjoyed a lot of aspects in this book. I enjoyed Aunt Josephine's letter to the children that they have to decipher. I enjoyed the whole Lake Lacrimore scenes, and again, the adults in these are just so useless. The kids always seem to be on their own. So yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was much better than the Reptile Room. That's 3 out of 13 books done for Series of Unfortunate Events. Hopefully I'll get to finish by the end of the year. We will see. And quite honestly, I've already beat my record for most books read in an entire month, but we haven't finished yet. So the next one that I got to read was for Divination, and that is to read a book that is set in the future. And so I managed to read Scythe by Neil Schusterman. I read this book because it was recommended on Becca and the Books' channel. She really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one. Finally, I got another 5-star read this month. I was not expecting just how good this one would be. It's set in a world where the only way you can die is by a professional scythe. We have our 2 main characters, Citra and Rowan, and they are chosen by Scythe Faraday to become junior scythes. The hitch in this is that during one of these meetings it is decided that the 2 main characters will have to sort of fight to the death to become a scythe at the end of their training. And a lot of stuff happens in this book. It's like 440 pages long, so I thought maybe it would get dull for me at some point, but it kept, like, it's split into 5 parts, and it gets like so interesting. There are so many turns to the story that you probably won't expect, and I just really enjoyed what happened in this. There was so much action that I ended up reading this in like 2 days, and I just really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I finally got another book that I really enjoyed this month. I was sick of reading these 3-star books, so I'm really looking forward to reading Thunderhead. I haven't managed to fit it into my May TBR, but who knows. Thank you, Becca, for recommending this one. I cannot wait to read the next one. I am so invested in this. Yeah, I just bloody loved it. So that's 11 out of the 12 prompts done, and that's it. I'm joking. I managed to read all 12 because the last prompt I needed was for Muggle Studies, which is to read a contemporary. And so my last book of this month is Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen McManus. I thought, why the fuck not? Because I wasn't planning on getting this far into the Elves anyway, so I kind of made up these last few books as I went along instead of preparing them. But yeah, I wanted to read this one because I did enjoy One of Us is Lying. I couldn't predict this one like the first one, so that I do prefer this one over One of Us is Lying. Give this one 4 stars as well, but I do prefer it just slightly more. Again, this is like a beautiful edition, and it's signed again too. Yay! Matching set. And it is about a pair of twins, and they come to this town where their mother lived. Years and years ago, where her twin sister disappeared, and it's like this town is sort of a bit Twin Peaks-ish. It's a weird town, and one of the main characters, Ellery, is a bit obsessed with crime and things like that, so it was interesting to watch her. Sometimes I hate when young adult writers put in pop culture references because you can really tell what they're a fan of. She puts in Law and Order references in this one, and One of Us is Lying, so it was a bit, yeah, like, we get it, you know, you're a fan. I prefer the characters in One of Us is Lying, but I prefer the story in this. So if she can write another one and blend the two together, that would be perfect. I'd probably give it 5 stars. But I enjoy her writing. It's pretty good, and I'm really glad that I managed to get through these 2 books this month anyway, so winner chicken dinner. So I managed to read all 12 of my OWLs. I am so happy because that means I can probably change my career if I wanted to anything, because again, I do want to be a Hogwarts professor, but by the time the newts come, I'll probably want to change it up. I have never read this many books in 1 month. And even if you don't count graphic novels, it's still 11 books. it's still 11 books, so that is fantastic as well. And I know I broke some of them up with children's books. You might think, you know, they're easier reads or whatever, but it still means something to me, okay? Don't take that away from me. So I read 12 books in April. I am so happy. That is a record-breaking month for me. And that meant I read an average of 130 pages per day. And that is a total of 3,775 pages read this month. Whew, that is the most ever. My most favourite read of this month was Misery. I would say my least favourite was These Rebel Waves because I literally could not tell you what the fuck it's about. And yeah, I'm so happy to have had such a successful month. I really wanted to give my all to the owls for my first readathon ever. Yeah, I'm so happy. Let me know how you guys got on in your owls. Let me know all of your incredible reads or your most disappointing reads of this month. Just let me know everything. Talk to me. I am here for you. Thanks so much for watching my video. Sorry if it's a bit long. I'll try and trim it as much as I can. I'll probably have to take out a lot of and there are a lot of times where I look really thick, which will not leave me with much. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.